Hello, am I live? I hope I am. I'm sorry, gremlins again. The internet connection seems very slow. Am I? I might be live now. I might be live. I'm not sure. Anyway, and breathe. We're here. It's Tuesday, and I got a bit confused actually because, of course, yesterday was a bank holiday. And I took the day off completely. It was marvelous. I only realised on Saturday that Monday was a day off. So I did everything I needed to do on Sunday, and then just stayed in, read my book, had the fire on, and played some music, played the piano. Anyway, I'm here. And Melissa, Jude, lovely to see you here. Sorry all about the technical gremlins again, but hopefully we're there. I was trying to do it on another tab and I was trying to do it through my phone. Didn't work. Anyway, I'm here. I am here. And I'm wearing a proper brew and a blether tonight. So it's lovely to be here. And sorry for all the Pamela, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It was entirely it was my technical gremlins once again. I was trying to start it and the tab froze, and then I switched over onto my neighbour's internet Wi-Fi. So hopefully we're okay now. Anyway, after all that faff this afternoon as well, thank you for bearing with me and for letting me have your thoughts as well about the rooms. So I was having a wee look into them, and it does look like it's a Zoom chat. It's just a way, it doesn't seem very secure either, from the reviews that I've seen. So we'll just, I think we'll save that if I'm ever needing to canvass an opinion, or I'm just desperate for some company, then I'll open up a room and whoever's there can jump on, we can have a quick chat, but we'll keep the brew and the blethers and the demonstrations, we'll keep them for the live video chat. I think that's the best way to go. Anyway, so at least now I can actually see your comments, and we have also, as well as Pamela and Melissa, we also have Claire. Claire's on the call too. Hello, Claire. I've just been parcelling up your little creatures today, and your wee guinea pigs very happily being sent home in the ambulance after being discharged from care. So he's doing okay. I'll be going to the post office first thing in the morning. I've got them. It's amazing. I've got 7 parcels to go, and it took me most of the afternoon to pack them. There were lots of parcels with lots of wee creatures in them that had to get done, but they're all going. Yay! Anyway, so right. Oh, and Melissa, you're saying another group that you're in used it for reviewing but never live. They had trouble too. Right. I think going back, touching very briefly, yeah, live video chat will be fine for the brews and the blether. Rooms will keep just for ad hoc, as and when, if I'm feeling desperate. And of course, I think anybody in the group can set them up as well. So if you're sort of having a chat with somebody and you want to sort of take it to the next level, I think you can do it. Whether you want to, I think it's set up that you have the option of doing that. I don't know. Facebook changes things so often. I can't keep up, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why the technical gremlins are here, because the new way that it's been laid out is nowhere near as intuitive as it was before. And that's saying something, because it was the way it was before, not very intuitive either. But I did my best to hold on to the old system for as long as I could, and I couldn't. And then they punted me, and I'm sure they've punted everybody else who's on Facebook onto the new system. Anyway, we're here. It's a free system. I'm grateful for the chance to have it, so I'm not complaining. I'm really not complaining. And we've got more people on the call too. Yay, excellent. So we have Tara here. Hello, Tara. Good to see you. It's really good to see you here. And Melanie's as well. Hello, Melanie too. And Sally Ann too. Oh, and Anne-Marie. My goodness, we've got a full house tonight. This is me. I've built it up so much, haven't I, from this afternoon going, we're going to have a room. We're going to do this. My apologies. Anyway, it's lovely to chat. I just realised actually the last Brew and Blether 2 weeks ago should have technically been a blether as opposed to a make, but it was a make because the wee Easter chicks wanted to be hatched. It's the way it goes sometimes. So, yes, I've just kind of got into this routine, as I'm sure I say every single time, and I just forget what I say. Oh, and Kirsty's made it onto the call. Hello, you were not that late after all. And in fact, had you been there bang on time, I wouldn't have been because of technical gremlins. I'm just going to have to call them the TGs or something. I'll come up with it. One day it'll go without a hitch, and we'll all be left going, what's, has Kirsten been abducted? Who are you? Are you an android? Are you a clone? Anyway, we're here. We've got, of course, and now, and this is amazing actually. I'm using this, my new webcam that I've been using for my demonstrations as well, and it doesn't do it in reverse. So, but it's kind of like, is that really what I look like then? Because I'm used to seeing, when you know what it's like when you take a picture of yourself, then it's in reverse. So you really only see yourself in reverse. So you never get to see yourself what you really look like. And if you're in a mirror, obviously you see a mirror image of yourself, not actually as others see you, I think. I'm not quite sure how it works, but anyway. So it's very strange. So that's how I test it. If the writing is the right way round, it means that you're seeing me as I am, and I'm seeing myself as I am, and it's a bit weird because I'm not quite sure which way to brush my fringe. Because anyway, so we have Viv here as well, and Kirsty. Yes, I have pet gremlins left, right, and centre. Gremlins. Do you remember I've made a few gremlins? As in not the soft toy gremlins from the film Gremlins, which is brilliant, by the way. I used to have what were they called? What were the furry gremlins that were really cute before they turned, you put water on them and they turned into like rah. What were they called? Oh, it was so sweet, and the little tune was. See, you're getting all the music in early on. Last time it was about halfway through before I got onto the Orville song, and I must say thank you. Anybody who's not on the call will be going, what? I must thank Melissa for finding the Orville "I Wish I Could Fly" song and posting it. So if anybody's wanting a blast back to the 1980s and knows who Keith and Orville, and we never liked the monkey, though we never liked the monkey. But anyway, go to the last Brew and Blether, and Melissa has posted a link to the video that took me right back. Anyway, Gremlins. So, what were they called? I can't remember. Oh, Mugwai, Tara, thank you, Mugwais. We have Mugwais, yes, Mugwai. So, yes, I'm starting early. My goodness, I'll just have tea while I gather my thoughts. Yes, so I made a little gremlin like a. Well, it was kind of just like a blob, but I called it a gremlin. I think I'll need to go back. I tell you, sometimes I will go onto my Flickr page, which for anybody who doesn't know, and I'm sure you all do know, but before I go on to that anecdote, I'm just going to say hello to Emma as well. Hello, Emma, and say hello to your grandma when you next see her as well. Hope she's doing okay. Anyway, yes, my Flickr page. So I've had this since the start, and I set it up initially just as a diary or a calendar. No, a diary, probably like a gallery of all the creatures that I've made. So you can go back and you can see Pigling the First from 11, coming up on 12 years ago now, actually, which is quite something. Anyway, the search function's really good. You can search Justin Querness and, search gremlin and see what comes up, because sometimes I do this, if I'm looking for a particular picture, when I'm saying hello to new people, or if I just want a wee creature to to post or to add to a post that I'm doing, then I'll just put in a keyword, and usually I can come up with some creatures that are relevant, and I'm kind of, sometimes I'll be like, I don't know, I don't remember making you. So yeah, the Flickr page is worth having a nosy through if you haven't already, and I know some people do. I know that Sarah does spend some time there, and it's worth doing, because quite often all my creatures go up there, all of them. Not all of them make it into the group, because some of them are for commissions and all the rest of it, but all the wee creatures go into the Flickr page at various points. Anyway, so I'm sure that there probably is a gremlin or a gremlin-esque thing, but not a Mugwai. Although I did have a soft toy Mugwai when they came out. I also had a soft toy Garfield. Do you remember Garfield? Sarah, you've just popped on. I was just talking about you. Your ears must have been burning. I was just telling everybody, telling you all about the Flickr page and how I know that Sarah likes to hang out there and how it's a rather good place to go. Gremlins, that's how we got onto that. And now we're on to Garfield because plush toys from the 80s, early 90s, there were some great ones. So I did have a Mugwai and I had the Garfield, the one that sits on the window. I don't know whether you remember, but it was like a window toy. So it had stickers on the pads, and then it was just a Garfield window. So most people had them, and I did too, in the back of the car, in the back windows. This little Garfield kind of going as he walked along. Loved my Garfield. No idea what happened to the Garfield. Garfield is now gone, but it was fun and the memory lives on, so it will never, ever lose. It will never leave me at all. And breathe. Anyway, so I don't know how on earth we got onto. I never know how we get onto these. I was saying to Enrique last week that I don't ever remember what I say in these things. Occasionally, I think in the early days when not long after I moved in here, which has been over a year now. It's been a year and 3 months since I moved into this place. Where does the time go? It's scary. Anyway, so the first few times that I was doing a Brew and a Blether here, I know that Enrique was like, "Oh, let's watch it," and I couldn't. I was just cringing with embarrassment. I was just like, is that what I sound like? Oh no, what am I saying? Oh my god, I'm blethering all. Anyway, right, and Anne-Marie's saying that they've done a new Garfield. You're joking? Have they changed the design, or is this a new plushie that they've got out? Because the original Garfield, I have to say, the originals of everything kind of. I don't know whether it's just an age thing that once because those of us of a certain age like the original Star Wars, for example, episodes 4, 5, and 6. And later ones just don't have the same appeal. Whereas there'll be a whole new generation of them who like whatever episodes are out now. I don't know. I'm not keeping up to date with whatever's going on. Those of you with children, I'm sure will, or maybe those of you who really like Star Wars will know what's going on. But I'm oblivious. I've not seen any of them. I think Jaja Binks, these were in episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think after them, I was just like, nah, I'll just stick with the original ones. Thank you very much. I don't know what it is with all the remakes that they're doing as well. It's like, if it was so good the first time, why try and remake it? But that seems to be a bit of a thing just now. And it's a bit of a shame that it is. So I will always stick with the originals. Just call me. I'm going to be in a week's time, less 6 days time. I'm going to be chronologically 50, allegedly. In my head, nowhere close. And I'm going with what my head says, to be honest, because I don't feel 50. No idea whether I look 50. I'm just still find it all a bit kind of freaky looking at the webcam and looking at myself the right way around, which is still a bit freaky. But anyway, I'm sure my parting was the other way around. Anyway, not to worry. So yeah, so there's all sorts of like originals. Oh gosh, and I've just not been scrolling through the comments and I'm blethering on, so I'll just pop into the comments and have a read of those. Melissa, you had good choice. You had one of the window Garfields. They're great. Window Bagpoos, Melanie, you had a this could be a game changer actually, because I love Bagpoos. Really love Bagpoos, and of course the mice on the mouse organ. Yeah. I mean, really, where do you think the inspiration came from? Grew up in the 70s, grew up with Bagpoos and the wee mice and Professor Yaffle, the carved wooden bookend in the shape of a woodpecker, if I remember correctly. Wasn't so much of a fan of Gabriel. And really Madeline, no. I'll stick with the creatures, thank you very much. But Bagpoos was so cute. I used to be able to do a Bagpoos yawn, but I can't do one anymore. Anyway, and Anne-Marie's saying that the Garfield is a new computer-generated version cartoon. No. Nope, we'll just draw a veil over that. I'm sure it's very good in its own way, but no, let's stick with the original cartoon and let's stick with the plushies. Let's try and find a window Garfield. Not sure where I would put. Do you know what? I would probably put it on the door in the mill so that anybody walking past would see this Garfield. Oh, that tickles me. I like the idea of that, I have to say. Tara, you're saying that your first car was bright orange and was called Garfield. Perfect. I have to say, oh, here's a bit, I'm not sure I've shared this bit of trivia with me. My car, my first car, was bright orange as well. It was a Ford Fiesta. And it was in the days when the registration, so the registration, which I still remember, I don't know why, TOX 241, no, sorry, TOS 241X. That was the registration number. Now, this is going back to like when I was 19 or something. And it was orange and it bounced a lot. So I called mine Tigger. So and actually, I also had a moped. After I'd had, because I've got I used to ride motorbikes as well, of course. But after I gave up the motorbike and felt, a bit like four wheels much better, two wheels fun, four wheels safer, then I got myself a little orange moped to commute to and from work. This is when I was still living in Leeds, but when I was still a lawyer, when I was still had to commute. Thank goodness I don't have to. Well, I do commute now, actually. Okay. Anyway, so I had to commute to the office, and I had a little orange moped that was called Tigger 2, of course, So again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I am a creature of habit. When I find something I like, I stick with it. It's kind of, yeah, that's just who I am. Call me a typical Taurus, but there you go. Anyway, so Melanie, you are a Star Wars fan. So yes, I'll be making them this week. Dawn and I are doing something special. Bagpuss, I think our American friends here may not know Bagpuss because it was very much a British thing from the 70s, like a children's program. Brilliant. All of our Postgate films were brilliant. Okay, I'm also a huge Clangers fan, and I did have a Clangers plushie as well. Never got the Soup Dragon. I'm not sure whether they did a Soup Dragon plushie, but loved the Clangers. It was so surreal. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Oh my goodness. Right, Melanie has now posted a link to eBay with a window clinging Bagpuss. So I think I'll just cut it short here and I'll just be going off to. No, I won't do that. I'm just going to bookmark it though. Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that very much. And yes, I think, oh, Melissa, you will love Bagpuss. You will absolutely love Bagpuss. I think just hopefully you'll be able to see them where you are. Hopefully they're on YouTube or something, but they are wonderful and you will love all the little stories and you will love the mice on the mouse organ right up your street. You will just adore it. Christy, you'll love them too. I have no doubt. Those of us who love wee creatures will just, Bagpuss is just brilliant. It's just, I think we could all, anytime you kind of I can hear the theme tune in my head just now anyway, and I can hear the narration, and it's a beautiful, beautiful children's series, and well worth catching up with for those who don't know it, and well worth revisiting for those who do. Yes, and actually, it reminds me of there was another great book that I loved, which was the Church Mouse. I don't know whether this rings a bell. In fact, I'm just going to run off and get it because I think it's, you'll like it. Right, I'm still here. I'm just coming back. Right. Does this ring any bells? Because I can do this and it's frontwards on, right? I mean, this is wonderful. So you can actually read it. So, does this ring any bells with anybody? The Church Mouse by Graham Oakley. No? Because I have a feeling, I mean, this was one of my favourite books, so much so. This is not the original book that I had, but I loved it so much, and the illustrations that I've had to buy it again recently. So you will see. I can't even see whether I'm doing the photos right, whether you can see them, but look, is stories of little church mice, and they're having adventures. And really, yeah, I have definitely been so influenced by all these things from the 70s and 80s. I just wish I'd listened to myself and spent, instead of spending, what, 15 years or so doing, like, studying law and practicing law. And oh my goodness, I'm once again, I will say, and I'll say this every time, and I say it every day, I'm so grateful I am no longer doing that. I'm very happy. So, yes. Oh, and Melissa's saying you grew up with Captain Kangaroo. That's a new one on me. So, again, do you know, I love this exchange of cultures. You know, we've each grown up with certain stories and programs and celebrities and just, you know, and games. And we all have our own fond memories of them, and they're all very different. And it's so different depending on where in the world you grew up. It's just, yes, and Anne-Marie, you're loving clangers as well. Oh, they did a new version of clanger. Oh, look, look, look. Let's just stick with, really, when we're talking Oliver Postgate, we're really just going with the original. We're just not going with anything reinvented. We don't need to reinvent it. But if it gets people into, like, younger children, or anybody of any age, of course, because it's of any age, if it gets them into looking into the originals, then it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. Ah, and the Borrower books. Yes, I loved them too. They were great. They were less on my radar than the creatures. You will not be surprised to know that it was always the creatures. So not so much the Wind in the Willows, but I loved the Otter, and I absolutely loved Watership Down. You know, they were great. And I have my sister and I have two cousins, and the four of us are all within 3 years of age of each other, and they live down in Sevenoaks. And we used to go down every Christmas, every Easter, every summer, and the four of us would just go off and have adventures. It was real Secret Seven, Famous Five kind of territory, but we were like the four. I'm sure we can come up with it. The Fabulous Four. Oh, that was probably was that not a film? Yeah, I think that they turned that into a superhero film, didn't they? But we were. And we used to pretend that we were the rabbits from Watership Down. So I was Fiver. And my cousin Katie was Captain Holly, and she'd be running at the end. She'd wait for Captain Holly, wait for Captain Holly. And my sister was Hazel, and my cousin Andrew was he was Bigwig. Bigwig. So I'm sure we're missing a couple of the rabbits, but we had such fun. We were just running around being rabbits. It was lovely. So I shouldn't really be surprised that I am where I am today, even though apparently I'm going to be chronologically 50 next. I'm just going to call that now. Chronologically 50, allegedly, next week. Nah, doesn't really matter. And thank you, Melissa. You have posted Captain Kangaroo. I will check it up after this and just to find out who else was what else was going on around the world at the time. It's wonderful. Finger Mouse. Now, Finger Mouse, is that Finger Bobs? Finger Bobs, I think, came out of Finger Mouse. Yes. Now, So Finger Bobs with Finger Mouse, and there was spiders. And was there not a snail? And there was was this Yoffie? Is this ringing a bell? I was just a bit too young to really, I really loved them, but it's all very much kind of vague things going on. But yeah, Finger Bobs with Finger Mouse as well was fantastic. Postman Pat, I think I'm a bit older than you, Anne-Marie, because I never really got into Postman Pat either. But they were still very good, and Thomas the Tank Engine was brilliant, and there was a Welsh Dragon one as well. It was narrated by the same. And there was, do you know, children. This is actually, here's a funny story, because this is what happens when people get together. We start talking about at some point when you're with people, we'll get round to talking about what programs they had growing up, what toys, all that sort of stuff. It'll be a real reminisce fest. And that's something because when I was at university, I ran the music society, the Dundee University Music Society, and I put on a disco, or came up with the idea for a disco, and it was going to be a 1980s nostalgia disco. And it was going to be like, we hired a disco, sold tickets, gave people 10-penny mix-up bags. We actually sat and made up lots of these 10-penny mix-up bags, which you probably get like for about 1.5p now. with inflation. You get one sweetie for 10p is what I'm trying to say. And on the like they had video screens in this disco in Dundee, and we just played children's children's programs from the 80s, and just had them on in the background with all this sort of dance music going on in the foreground. So this was like 92, 93 or something. It was all a bit surreal, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I really, it's what we do, isn't it? It's just something that it depends what age you were, what you grew up with, you will always have total allegiance to them. That's wonderful. So actually, forget everything I said. If you feel called to look up any of these things that we've mentioned tonight, do so. But I am not expecting you all to fall in love with them as I have done. And I want to hear all the ones that you grew up with, and all the programs and things like that that you have had fun. Magic Roundabout. How could I have forgotten the Magic Roundabout, Tara? That's wonderful. Do you know Eric? What's his name? Eric Thompson. That was the name of the chap who wrote it, and I'm sure you all know this anyway, but he is the father of Emma Thompson, the actress. So, and he used to read the stories of the Magic Roundabout tour when she was growing up, and then it became this wonderful program. It's just, yeah, when you look at it now with adult eyes, you can kind of see that it was a bit skating close to the bone a few times, but yeah, the Magic Roundabout was fantastic as well, I have to say. Oh my goodness. So, and we've got, oh no, I've lost myself. Oh no, there I am. Sorry, I'm scrolling up and down the screen, and I've kind of lost I've lost myself. But let me see the comments as well. My goodness, which movie freaked you out, Kirsty? Which one was that? Because there's so many comments here, I'm not sure which one you were talking about there. So, Kirsty, chime in, tell me which one freaked you out. Because I think we're way past Gremlins now, but you never know. You never know. But yes, I think it's just, I suppose when you've got young children, and Anne Marie, I know you're in this category, you will then fall in love with a new set of children's programs that you're watching with your kids, and yeah, and I've never had that. You see, I don't have children. I have always lived far away from my nieces, my two nieces, who are now like, they're sort of late teens, early 20s now. And of course, I only met Enrique 6 years ago. So his younger daughter was 13, 14 when I first met her. She's now like 19, nearly 20. Yes, we're coming up for 6 years that we'll be celebrating together, my husband and I. But yes, we met. It's coming up on 6 years ago this summer. Well, actually, our first date was on the 7th of June, 2015. So on the 7th of June, we will be celebrating exactly 6 years from when we first met, but we were first in touch on the 20th of May. Because, I just have this kind of weird memory for dates. Kirsty, you're saying, right, with you. So, Watership Down. Yes, I didn't like it when they put the gas down the holes. Let's be honest. But is that why you're now working in the veterinary profession? I think because of, just having such a soft spot for animals. I mean, Watership Down will certainly do that to you, I think, for sure. So yes, Bodger and Badger. I've never even heard of Bodger and Badger. See, again, I think it comes in decades, doesn't it? So if you grew up in the 70s, then you'll know Bagpuss and the Clangers, etc., and all the other ones that we've been talking about. Mr. Ben with his, magical changing of clothes and going off and having adventures in other periods of time. I mean, brilliant stuff, but when you actually try and explain it, it's kind of like, it's a bit weird, really, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, there's so much to talk about anyway. Yeah, so Melissa, yeah, it's when you're living, sorry, when you're living your life through vicariously, as you say, Melissa, through nephews, nieces, or grandchildren, or whatever it might be, or friends' children, or whatever. You're not as involved in what they're doing, what they're saying. So I'm still hanging on very happily to my own childhood, and I'm still living it, let's be honest, and actually making a living out of it, which is, I give thanks every day that I am able to, and that you really like the wee creatures. I mean that's it's still so very very special. Mashed potato obsessed puppet badger. That is Bodger and Badger. I feel like I'm now missing a huge chunk, a huge part of my child. How could I have missed out on a mashed potato loving badger? That just sounds so up my street. Right, okay. So I'm going to look at all the links that you've posted in here. Thank you so much for those. I'm definitely going to investigate Bodger and Badger. And oh, Bambi as well. Do you mean the actual the Disney Bambi? So sweet. Oh, anything with animals. It's just yeah, animals are the purest expression of life on this earth. I do believe that. I have to say, we just kind of get in the way. So we're so much better at just trying to be like more like the animals. And I don't mean literally before anybody says anything. You know, I know Enrique would now be kind of going, literally, well, let's walk on all fours and just eat left. No, you know what I'm trying to say, I think, there anyway. Right. Oh, I am. Oh my goodness, what's the time? Right, it's 3 minutes past, or 33 minutes past 8 o'clock. Now I know we started about 3 or 4 minutes late. Apologies again for that. One day it will be perfect, and then we'll just be sitting there going, I've got nothing to talk about now. But yes, I am very fortunate. It's lovely. It's been a month since we last had this, and my tea has now officially gone. Oh, excuse me, it's gone lukewarm. I will be zapping it before and gulping it down because you can't waste tea. My goodness, no. So yeah, the amount of times I zap tea through the day, it's quite something. Anyway, so oh yes, the Lady and the Tramp film is so great. I'll just tell you this very quickly. Do you remember? I can't even remember what they're called, but it was like little like binoculars that you had when you were a kid. Obviously, we're just talking kids here, and you put in little discs which had like photographs in them, like negatives, and you could scoosh through them or like click through them, and you would see pictures. And I can't remember what they're called, but I had them, and we had Lady and the Tramp, and we had 101 Dalmatians, and we had lots of the Disney films, and these were stills from the Disney films that you could just click through with this. I'm sure we'll come up with a name for it because it was lots of fun, and I always remember the picture of the thieves who'd broken in, and one of the Dalmatian parents, Viewfinder. That's the one. That's the one. Excellent. Yes, Viewfinder. So 101 Dalmatians one, and the image. I mean, I can pretty much recreate each of them in my head from way back then. But it's when the thieves broke in, and one of the dogs, I think it was the papa dog, like bit the pants of, of one of the thieves and exposed some pink underwear or something. Isn't it a bit nuts what sticks in your mind anyway? Oh look, as we're talking about animals, Pamela has got a hedgehog visiting your garden again, which you're leaving food for. That's wonderful. You see, animals know. They know where to come. They know where they instinctively get a feeling for where to come. And my old neighbour, Sheila, she's bless her, she's lovely. She looks after all the neighbourhood cats, and that's why, because they know she is a cat angel. She looks after all of them in the area, so I look after her. Speaking of which, I do have some milk to take home to her, so I will say cheerio now, and thank you so much for joining me, and it's been fun. And we will do, I am going to do a room just as an experiment, and whoever's there, jump in, let's see what it's like. But I'll keep these Brew and Blethers as live chat so I can record them and I can upload them. You'll see them in the group, and I've also got my YouTube channel now with about, I don't know, 3 followers. Hey! That's not me saying go off and follow. No, don't bother. It's like, YouTube's not really my thing, but it's there for anybody who is not in Facebook, and then they can go and see them there. So have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, night, wherever you may be. So good to speak to you again, and I'll see you in the group tomorrow at some point, I'm sure. Night night, and have a lovely time. Bye.